Damn it. Get the fuck out of here. Ugh. Oh boy. All right. Well, that didn't work out so good. We'll see. We'll see how game 5 is. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Stormwatch. I'm your host, John Willis. We'll be joined here very shortly by my co-host, Brad Willis. Looks like here he is now. And so
Hey.
Brad is now here. And so, yeah, Carolina Hurricanes just lost the potential sweep there to the New York Islanders. A little bit frustrating there to see it ultimately go this way. But what were your impressions of the game? How are you feeling now? Let's start there. How are you feeling now as a Canes fan?
I know I'm feeling fine.
Yeah. I mean, I know my original pick was 6 and yours was 6 too, right?
Right. That's what I was going to say.
I don't like
and
6 now.
Interesting. Right.
Yeah.
That's what's it's so interesting how we're so willing to come off of that number after a couple wins. And now after one win by the Islanders, we're saying maybe it's a good number. So no, when you're up 3-0, you kind of, at least I do. I take a step back and just look. What are my eyes telling me? How do I feel about this team? And I have mixed feelings because here we are. We're up 3-0 going into it, about ready to sweep them, and yet I was thinking we haven't played our best hockey.
Right.
And
maybe game 2.
So I'm a little bit worried. Well, game 2 because we were up against our backs were up against the wall. Yeah, right. But then I started thinking, well, maybe we're just falling into the trap of playing to the Islander style, and that's not necessarily our style. And maybe once we play, let's say, a Rangers or a Panthers, even though those teams are scary by a factor of 2, at least we'll kind of play more a game, I guess. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would hope to think so. I would hope that is how it's going to come out, but it is a little concerning that we're falling into playing the way that the Islanders want us to play, the Islanders game, throughout most of these games. I mean, like I said, I think game 2, the forecheck was just on too hard for them to get any shots generated, which is much more typical. In this game, we definitely outshot them. I don't know do you have the final total up in front of you? But I think it was like 45 to 35, somewhere around there. And it's a long
44 to 35.
44 to 35.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So, who had the game winner from them?
Ortuzzo. He had a good game.
Yeah, he had struggled earlier in the series, big time.
Let's see. No, I guess he just got the goal. I thought he had an assist earlier, but no. Well, actually, he didn't have the goal. It bounced off of Barzal's leg, I guess. So
okay, yeah,
Barzal
I think they're going to give it to the Barzal. Yeah, definitely hit off his shin.
And that was the second of the game. His first one was even, I don't know. I think Freddie regrets that one going in.
I think he saw it. I think he knew the shot was coming, but I think in between the shot coming, there was movement, right? So he couldn't. It's one of those things where, like, when the puck goes behind someone, you still know it's going to be there, but you lose it for a second.
Following the player.
Yeah. You can't follow it all the way. But
he whiffed on that catch. So
yeah,
and crossbar or posting in.
Yeah, but I still thought he played very well. I think both goals
absolutely
played pretty good. Jarvis with another good goal. The power play, what I was saying at the end of last game is it hasn't looked too great. Today, it's the only reason we're in the game. We get 2 power play goals. We didn't really have a ton of great offensive looks in other, facets of the game. Svechnikov had a good game, but yeah, we're kind of trapped playing that Islander style, and it's a little bit concerning going into, finishing out this series first of all, and then potentially going into the next one. So, I think we do win the next game. I would be pretty pissed if it does ultimately end up going back to New York for us to have to.
How many days rest do we have?
And I
now?
thought when we got to overtime, I thought honestly, okay, this is probably going to be us, but it only takes one shot. I thought we did have probably the better of the play in the overtime period. But the Islanders and Canes were both doing a good job, of not limiting a ton of great opportunities for either team.
Yeah,
it wasn't a bad game from anyone, but we just we're needing those goals, and that's the thing that we've been needing the past few postseasons. And we got the goal scorers, but the goals aren't coming. So what gives?
Yeah, for example, like you said, any random shot can win an overtime game, and
Nason had a very good game as well. I want to mention.
Yes,
that.
He did.
Yeah.
But right off the face-off in the second overtime, Turbo saucers one to Stahl, who takes a shot in stride, and after the goalie after Varlamov stopped that, I thought, boy, wouldn't that have been nice to win the game in within 9 seconds of the second overtime?
Yeah,
I'd like to see Stahl get a goal. I don't know. There are pockets of
Jarvis and Martinook are going to get the goals on that line. But yeah, I mean,
Jarvis is definitely going to get them.
Yeah,
Marty gets them occasionally.
I mean, all
Marty
those guys
seems to get the timely goals.
All those guys, yeah. I mean, he got the comeback game winner goal. Yeah, I mean, Svechnikov had a good game. Anderson had a good game. Nason had a good game. I thought KK had a good game. Again, Natchez is kind of disappearing.
Yeah. So, I'm kind of on.
It's kind of interesting, like the way Game 3 ended. It feels like it's kind of the same feeling I have for Game 5. Like, ultimately, I think this is like an inevitability, but you got to close it out. And the last one's always the hardest. All those cliches. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a weird feeling as a Canes fan. It's weird also that it's the middle of the day, this matinee game.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your feelings on these matinee games.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the team did look maybe a little bit tired.
I did,
especially
too.
As the game went on. So thank you for asking. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think definitely that was a factor. We still had the better of play. I mean, the shots were 44 to 35, you said. But yeah, it only takes one in overtime.
40,
and I think the Hurricanes did their best to close it out in the first overtime. And the Islanders knew, well, we've probably got the legs with the style that they play. It's not as necessarily as demanding. They can sit back a little bit much rather than just, skating the whole time that the Brind'Amour system demands. So I do think that was definitely a factor. But I don't think it was necessarily really a factor for Freddie at all. The last goal, like, what are you going to do? It's going to go wide. He's moving his blocker towards it. He's at the top of the crease, and goes off his shin and goes in the net, Yeah. So, like I said, I don't have really a lot of negatives to say other than, we got to close it out. I've got some worries going in the next series. The power play is, getting goals now. So the second unit and the first unit both having goals today. So
we got to remember this. We're playing a team that's it's fighting for its life.
Right. And
so
the Islanders
played
a good game.
They did.
But this is the style, this is the type of game that they're going to have to win, and they tried to do it in Game 3. They did their best to do it in Game 3. Kind of a similar feel in this one.
Very similar.
Game 3 had maybe a little bit more intensity to start, I think. This game kind of, I don't know, I
think it goes back to the matinee start.
Yeah, that's probably part of it as well.
They're kind of just trying to wake up, I think.
One thing I do want to say is UBS Arena needs to wake up. Like, what is going on in that arena? There's a ton of empty seats. There is just like, when the Canes score, it is silent afterwards. Dead silent. And I know that happens for us too, but at least our roars are deafening. The roars for them are just,
it's funny you
can still
that.
Hear crickets.
Yeah. There was a camera shot of a family, I'm assuming, of let's say 8 up waving the flags, right? No one else in the audience was doing anything. 8 people. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's a different demographic up there. Maybe they're a little bit older.
I've heard throughout this year that it's kind of gotten bleak as far as the fandom is concerned, because they've kind of been around
the NHL, or just the Islanders.
No, just the Islanders. Just the Islanders. No, the NHL overall is booming. I mean, the expansion is coming. 34 teams are coming soon. It's coming really soon, within 5 years for sure. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like you said, it was kind of like we've been saying, it's kind of the same feeling from Game 3 going into Game 5. I don't have like a ton of takeaways other than I'd like to see the boys like really get to their system. I think they tried for portions today, particularly in the second period. There was about 7 minutes there where they were really doing a lot, keeping the Islanders in their own zone. They couldn't capitalize on it. No 5-on-5 goals, like we said. The Islanders, one of their goals was on the power play. No.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Pajot's was on the power play.
Yeah, they've had timely power play goals.
The Pajot goal. Can we talk about that?
The one where it bounces to him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very similar to the Jarvis goal. I mean, you trade those, right?
Jarvis is kind of squirted out, but this was a hard deflected pad right to Pajot, and there's no one on that side of the ice, basically. Yeah. Maybe Burns was over there. But it's one of those things where Freddie's playing really, really well, but that was one where I would say he overreacted.
Maybe you'd like to see him. I don't know if he's able to. Was the shot itself along the ice, or was it up in the air a little bit? Because if it's on the ice, then maybe he can turn his paddle over and flick it into the corner.
And that's exactly what I was thinking after that happened. I thought, why didn't he just put a stick out there and try to stop it? It wasn't that hard of a shot. But, it's all happening in the blink of an eye.
It's easy to watch a slow-mo replay and say, oh, you should have done this as a goaltender when it happens in real time. Like on that wraparound play, right? That he makes a good play on that wraparound where he overcommits, but he gets back in time. He stops it on the near side on the wraparound, and then there's another short chance or another chance very shortly after in close, and he goes from left post where he overcommitted over to the right post to save the wraparound, and then back to the left post to make sure his leg is flush with that post for the next chance that comes. And that's all within less than a second, all of that. Yeah. So when you watch the replay of Vinny's sort of goaltending thing, it's like, oh yeah, it looks like he looked, why didn't he get over in time? Well, he's so freaking fast. But yeah,
he's played well. I mean,
no goaltender's game is 100% perfect.
I think in the first period he made a great skate save on a stretch. I think on Pajot,
with the Anders Lee,
to deflect it,
or maybe it wasn't on Lee, but it was
from Lee passed it to whoever was in the center.
Yeah,
maybe it was Engvall.
He either gets it with the toe of it with the skate, right there, right around his toe, or he's challenges enough with it that it forced the guy to mishandle wide.
Yeah,
either way,
combination
it was
of both.
Good. Yeah, Freddie was good.
Yeah,
Freddie was good. Gensel and Aho were kind of quiet today. The face-off circle was a mess today.
Wasn't that incredible? Wasn't that incredible?
What's the final on that? It was bad. It was
68% for the Islanders. It was worse than that at one
68%, yeah, and that's with the Hurricanes won like 8 out of the last 9 going into the overtime.
Right, because at one
so if you remove that stretch there, it was terrible.
Yeah, at one point
throughout, it was bad.
The Islanders were winning 80%.
So that's something that's really got to change. Now at home, the Islanders do have the way that the face-off rules are structured. There is certain advantages to that. So when Carolina's back home, then we'll see.
You mean last change?
Relative to whose stick has to be down first at the face-off dot.
Oh, see, I'm learning something new about hockey. I thought it was whoever was in the defensive zone had to have their stick down.
Yeah. I'll send you a video of it, but it's
so I believe a home ice component to.
I believe so. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is in the offensive zone. We'll cut this if it's not. I'll have to look it up.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. But
the Hurricanes couldn't really win any faceoffs today. It was bad.
Credit to the Islanders. They have not allowed us to put 60 minutes together of Hurricanes hockey at any stretch in any of the 4 games.
I mean, like I said, I would make the argument that maybe game 2 it just didn't feel that way because we were down 3-0. But if you look at the shot totals, they only had 12 shots the entire game.
Right.
So by the time it was 3-0, it was like
you're right.
But still, if it's only 1 out of 4 games, that's 25%. That's terrible. So the point still stands.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think Tony had a good game.
Tony had a good game. Thank you for noting that. Yeah. Tony did have a good game. He's been very serviceable.
He's active. Yeah, he's serviceable.
It's weird because
good word.
Same thing as game 3. We got the result that we wanted in game 3, but we said, it wasn't exactly the best game, but no one who's had a bad game.
It's the Islander style, right?
Yeah, give credit to the Islanders. They are making it difficult.
Yeah.
I think, keep playing this series out. It's going to go our way. I'm thinking the crowd's really going to have an impact in game 5. There's no way it can't.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if the Islanders had got any juice out of their crowd, then I can't imagine what PNC is going to do to the Canes.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, so
plus we have Stormy. So
plus we've got Stormy. Yeah, Svechnikov went for the lacrosse move, wasn't able to pull it off. Made a good play right afterwards. He kind of goes to this side of the net with it, cradled, and then brings it back around. Makes a pass through the slot over to Aho, who I can't remember. He either got tied up at the last second or just missed it wide.
What did you think of Kuznetsov, Drury, and Nason's line? I mean, Nason,
they had some. They definitely had some
power play goal, but
they definitely had some moments. I don't know. What did you think of it?
I think Nason played hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let me put it this way.
It's interesting having him and Kuznetsov on a line. It's like two very different players, right? Like Kuznetsov, super, super skilled, is going to be very relaxed with the puck and, maybe not super defensively reliable, but Nason is a hustle guy. He's going to, give you the back check that you need. He's not exactly the most defensively stalwart player either, but he's a dirty player around the net. They're both really good passers. They both love the area, behind the net.
But one of the problems with that line, as we're talking about it, is the fact that those two really good passers, one is more cerebral, and then Nason is gritty. They have no one to pass to.
Yeah, I mean, Drury's he hasn't been super noticeable this series, but you're not getting a ton of minutes out of those guys. So, and did we expect a lot out of Drury?
I mean, really, he's more for defensive.
The issue, the ripple effect is that Jesper Fast is out. So then Jesper Fast is out. So then you don't do Martin Uxtal, Fast.
Yeah.
Or even Fast somewhere on the fourth line or something like that. But, that it's all related to this. And so we can't, that's another thing to note. I'm glad no one got injured today.
Exactly.
We gotta stay healthy
I didn't
as we win this series.
See any incidences that were worrying? Did you? I didn't see anybody.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, stay the course, I think, is the overall message. Just try to get to your game. Keep doing it. Got to stop taking penalties. That Aho penalty was brutal.
Yeah.
You can't take that one at the end of the second. You can't take that one at the end of the second. I don't know which broadcast you watched it on, but I was watching it on Bally, and Tripp was a little too, said that the Islanders guy helped it along. No, the Islanders guy just kept his feet moving. It was a trip.
It's a trip all day long.
Yeah.
And actually, to be honest,
and you can't do that at the end of the game. Aho got frustrated because they had a good offensive shift, but they didn't build anything out of it. He realized it was the end of the period. It was going to go back the other way. He sticks his stick out to try to get the puck, but in the process, he's not careful enough to remove his stick when he realizes the guy's feet's right there. So it's a clear trip. And then on the ensuing power play after the period had ended at the start of the third, they score. So, things like that can't happen. Things like that are big mistakes from leaders, and ultimately can keep a team that shouldn't be in the game, and that's where they actually took their lead. So,
yeah.
Any other thoughts on the game?
Thoughts.
I think that's
next game is Tuesday.
Next game is Tuesday.
Back in the friendly confines.
Yep. Yep. So
of West Raleigh.
no sweep for the Hurricanes in this one. We'll try to round it out in Game 5. Hopefully, everyone can stay healthy, get some rest.
And right now,
what's it looking like in the other games?
Right now, last I looked, the Lightning were up, and it's still the Lightning are up 3-0 in the second.
Okay, so it looks like they're going to survive. So I feel better about Newton.
No, it's only 16-14 in the second. So
I understand that, but a 3-0 lead with a team that's that experienced in the playoffs, i.e. the Lightning over the Islanders, you never know.
Right.
But I'm just going to go ahead and say it looks like they're going to.
So here's something amazing.
Pull that off.
And you can edit this if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Mikhail Sergachev is back in the lineup after breaking his leg February 7th or something.
Yeah.
So that can't be right. It's like 10 weeks and after a broken leg.
That's crazy.
It's funny because I was watching the National I don't know if it's
That's crazy.
TBS.
10 weeks.
They were talking about it, and they said because he was dressed during the warm-ups, and they said, no, he's just out there to talk to the guys. He's not going to play. And then he started.
They're facing elimination. He's going to play.
It's risky, man. Guy broke his leg 10 weeks ago. But I guess
then you have another surgery. So,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love it if one of our players did that. So,
Pesci can come back hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't be 10 weeks. 10 weeks is not is way too much time. But yeah.
Is there an update?
All
on
right.
Pesci?
Well, no,
okay.
not that I've heard of.
All right. Well, thanks.
We've got a lot of guys waiting in the wings. Hopefully, Tony can keep doing what Tony's been doing the past game.
Well.
I mean, he's been perfectly serviceable in my eyes.
Yep.
He's not the defensive lockdown that you hope for. He's going to make an issue, here and there where the puck stays in our zone a little bit too long because he fails to get a clearance or something like that. But he's our best option right now, and I think he's playing well. I'm happy with his performance.
And looking back, it's a much better choice than Morrow.
Definitely. You can't go with anyone that experienced this time of year. It just
no matter his skill set.
Yeah, no matter his skill set. So
all right.
Yeah, he's not Cale Makar. Let's put it that way. You can't bring in. If he was Cale Makar, then maybe we would bring him into the playoffs, but he's not. So, all right. Well, thanks you so much, everyone who listens, and please share and like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. We will see you again next time. Go Canes.
Go Canes.
Bye-bye.